Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, the king of all those cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Hell, wait till you try those half-pound Wagyu burgers. Best I've ever had, along with the short rib of beef. Boy, they're all good. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, and big welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Also, everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, and independent cable affiliates in select markets, as well as Hotel TV where applicable, and of course all of our streaming platforms. By the way, folks, our friends over at Vacation Buddies are giving away a couple of nights in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or in Branson, Missouri, if you can answer a very simple trivia question. Which of these four NBA superstars won 6 NBA titles? Is it A, Magic Johnson, B, Larry Bird, C, Kobe Bryant, or D, Michael Jordan? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want to give you a couple of nights in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Branson, Missouri. If you know the answer to that very simple trivia question. If so, again, call 888-576-5777. Call now. All right. Now, how many of us have taken these trips to places like fabulous Las Vegas, right here in Vegas, of course, and placed a little bet here, a little bet there? And well, hell, nowadays, I mean, you could basically go in your own backyard and you could bet at your local casinos or even online these days. I mean, it's kind of crazy. The widespread gambling and betting, it's run rampant. And so now when we look at it, we say, well, geez, you don't have to go to Vegas to bet on sports anymore, because that's what Vegas had over all the other places, Atlantic City and all the others. You couldn't bet on sports. Now you can bet on sports online, and obviously it's bad for business for out here. However, I think it's bad for the economy in a lot of ways because it gives people false hope and all this other stuff. And frankly, it's not very good. And I say it's not very good because, look, I live in a gambling environment here. I lived very close to one in suburban Chicago as well. And I noticed the local area was very depressed where the casino was. And this is kind of widespread. You see a lot of that unless you're in a real high-end place. Like here in Las Vegas, along Las Vegas Boulevard, for example, you see all the big hotels and it looks really nice. But some of the other areas, it gets a little bit seedy, a little questionable. There's a little bit of vice issues, if you know what I mean. I didn't say ice, I said vice. And the bigger problem is that it's a false hope. What happens when it spills into the players? And I don't give a damn what sport we're talking about here. Let's focus on, well, let's try this. Let's try baseball. That's right. Let's try baseball, because it was the Pete Rose thing way back. And then some people had accused Shohei Ohtani of gambling. Some people said that he met his interpreter right here in Las Vegas on a 5-day gambling bender. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's the word on the street. So who knows? I don't know. That's just what people say. However, here's what we do know. We do know that a couple of current Major League Baseball players have been charged in sports betting and a money laundering conspiracy. Oh, boy.
Show me the money!
Yeah, I guess they want you to show them the money, or they wanted it. How about this? This is according to, yes, the United States Attorney's Office, Eastern District of New York. They say the defendants allegedly rigged pitches with corrupt sports bettors who placed fraudulent wagers worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's ridiculous. Oh boy, and this is going to get worse, folks. I got to tell you, this is going to get worse. Now, at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn, an indictment was unsealed charging two defendants, Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz and Luis Leandro Ortiz Rivera, with wire fraud conspiracy, honest services fraud conspiracy, conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery, and money laundering conspiracy for their alleged roles in a scheme to rig bets on pitches thrown during Major League Baseball games. This is disgusting. Ortiz was arrested in Boston and, of course, will make their appearance in federal court in Boston. And Ortiz will be arraigned in the Eastern District of New York at a later date. And Clase is currently not in U.S. custody. That's right. And the booze continue. So Joseph Nocella Jr., United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, and Christopher G. Raya, Assistant Director in Charge, Federal Bureau of Investigations, New York Field Office, announced the indictment and the arrest. And as a matter of fact, how about a quote? Stated by the United States Attorney Nocella. He says, quote, "Professional athletes like Luis Leandro Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz hold a position of trust, not only with their teammates and their professional leagues, but with fans who believe in fair play. As alleged, the defendants sold that trust to gamblers by fixing pitches. In doing so, the defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platform where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. Integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the sports, it becomes disgraced, not only to the participants, but damages the public trust in an institution that is vital and dear to all of us. Today's charges makes clear that our office will continue to vigorously prosecute those who corrupt sports through illegal means." Close quote. Now, State's FBI Assistant Director in Charge, Raya, stated, quote, "Luis Leandro Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz allegedly rigged their pitches in professional baseball games so that the inner circle and the occasionally themselves could quietly cash out in their winnings. The defendants alleged greed not only establish an unfair advantage for select bettors, but also sullied the reputation of America's pastime. The FBI will ensure any individual who exploits their position as a professional athlete at the expense of others strikes out." Close quote. Boy, this is disgusting. Now look, we know a lot of people that bet online and they do all these horrible things. So, I mean, look, everybody can be affected by this. And Clase at times received bribes and kickbacks from bettors in exchange for providing advanced non-public information. He also sometimes provided money to the bettors in advance to fund the scheme. The indictment includes numerous examples of pitches that Clase rigged, including one in the Eastern District of New York in a game against the New York Mets. In total, by rigged pitches, Clase caused his co-conspirator bettors to win at least $400,000 in fraudulent wagers. I mean, look, going back to a previous season, Ortiz, a starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians, yes, a couple of Guardians, that is, joined the criminal scheme, and together with Clase, Ortiz agreed in advance to throw balls instead of strikes on pitches in 2 games in exchange for bribes and kickbacks before an Major League Baseball game at an undisclosed date and time. Ortiz agreed with his co-conspirators to throw a ball on a particular pitch in exchange for bribes. The bettors agreed to pay Ortiz a $5,000 bribe for throwing the rigged pitch. That's right, $5,000 for a pitch. And Clase a $5,000 bribe for arranging the pitch. So he was the conspirator in this particular one. Now, before another game, Ortiz agreed with his co-conspirators to rig a second pitch by throwing a ball in exchange for a bribe. The bettor agreed to pay Ortiz $7,000 for throwing the rigged pitch, and Clase a $7,000 bribe for arranging the rigged pitch. So before the game, Clase withdrew $50,000 in cash and provided $15,000 to a co-conspirator who used the money to wager on Ortiz's rigged pitch during the game. That's right. And by in total, rigging pitches for bribes, Ortiz caused his co-conspirator bettors to win $60,000 in fraudulent wagers.
Show me the money!
That's right, folks. This is disgusting. All right, back here in a few minutes on The Circus with more of this disgustingly, well, just this horrible behavior. Back here in a few. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportcircus.com. That's info@thesportcircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Check them out, folks. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the New York Yankees, San Francisco 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcoming everybody else up and down the West Coast over to sunny Southern California, driving in between there and fabulous Las Vegas right over here, listening in on Highway Country Radio 101.5 FM and 107.3 FM. That's home of the Sports Circus at 7 p.m. And, of course, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Las Vegas Raiders. Everybody else up and down the Midwest, thanks for joining us, as well as our friends from Montgomery, Alabama, over to Columbus, Georgia, heading out of Auburn, Alabama, War Eagle. That's our friends over listening on WAUD 1230 on the AM dial. That's home of the Atlanta Braves. And, of course, welcoming everybody waking up with us over in Atlanta. That's on WDJY 99.1 FM, plus all of our other affiliates from coast to coast on radio, and everyone watching on television in select markets as well. And by the way, our friends over at Vacation Buddies, in the first segment, I mentioned that they were giving away a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas or in Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida. If you know the answer to a simple trivia question, I'm going to repeat it in case you're just tuning in right now. Which of these four NBA superstars won 6 NBA titles? Is it A, Magic Johnson, B, Larry Bird, C, Kobe Bryant, or D, Michael Jordan? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want to give you a couple of nights right here in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or in Branson, Missouri. If you know the answer to that simple trivia question, if so, call 888-576-5777. All right, now back to this chaotic baseball pitching scam scheme between Emmanuel Clase and Mr. Luis Leandro Ortiz Rivera. But Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz is his full name. So we're talking $5,000 a pitch, $7,000 a pitch, and gamblers are getting... very specific gamblers are getting making $60,000 in fraudulent wages. They're making all that money. Never mind the fact of what Class A is getting, $5,000 here, $7,000 here, whatever the number is here and there. I don't know, some crazy amount. And they said Class A. This is from the this article was actually from the United States Attorney's Office, Eastern District of New York. So it's not a spun story in any way, shape, or form. Oh no, these guys are in big trouble, and they're violating the trust of sports watchers, and frankly, it's awful. It's awful. And so the charges in the indictment are allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Well, whatever. If convicted, each defendant faces a maximum sentence of 20 years imprisonment on the wire fraud conspiracy count, 20 years imprisonment on the honest services wire fraud conspiracy count, 5 years imprisonment on the conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery count, and 20 years imprisonment on the money laundering conspiracy count. That's right, you heard it, folks. That's about, it looks to be about 65 years potential in prison for fixing baseball games or fixing pitches anyway. Now, the government's case is being handled by the office's public integrity section. Assistant United States Attorney Sean M. Sherman and Eric Silverberg are in charge of the prosecution, with assistance from paralegal specialist Daniel Arakawa. And that is it, folks. This is really ugly. And listen, folks, this is not the first time this has happened. Now, you may recall this has also happened in basketball. As a matter of fact, we had Tim Donaghy on the show many years ago. And Tim was a great guest, and we still keep in touch with Tim today. Tim went to prison for 14 months for fixing basketball games in the NBA. Well, guess what? Tim, when he was on the show, he said he got beat up every day in jail. I couldn't imagine what could happen with those two baseball players if convicted of up to 65 years in prison. Imagine that. How about this one? How about, oh yeah, the NBA? Oh yes, there's more chaos there. Because we're going to go back in the time machine on October 23rd, 2025. Current and former National Basketball Association NBA player and coaches were among 34 people arrested and indicted for allegedly conducting rigged sports betting and poker games. Now, this is according to Wikipedia, and they have all of their sources cited. They have scores of sources cited. And so you can go back to all of theirs, just look under NBA illegal gambling prosecution with all the people in mind here. It says Hall of Famer and current Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, former player Damon Jones, and current Miami Heat player Terry Rozier were all arrested for their alleged involvement in the scandal. That's right. More of this garbage. So the investigation, the FBI and the New York City Police Department Organized Crime Control Bureau's Joint Organized Crime Task Force began investigating individuals associated with the NBA for illegal gambling back in 2023. And the Bureau was alerted to unusual betting activity involving Rozier in March of 23. The NBA also investigated meetings with Rozier many times, but ultimately cleared him. Rozier was arrested in Orlando, Florida, where the Heat played their season opener against the Orlando Magic. And back on October 23rd, 2025, the prosecution were made public after the arrest of the involved parties. And Billups was arrested in Portland, Oregon, a day after the Blazers' season opening loss to the Timberwolves. Both Rozier and Billups denied the allegations and were placed on administrative leave by the NBA pending review of the federal indictment. And the actual scheme, according to Wikipedia, is like this. The prosecution involves two alleged schemes. Billups and Rozier were charged as separate but related schemes involving rigged poker games and illegal prop bets. Billups and Jones were accused of helping the mafia organize rigged poker games, after which the mafia would take a portion of the winnings and go after debtors. Billups and Jones are also charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. Mind you, this is all according to Wikipedia, and they have scores and scores of sources. Now, the first indictment involved a group of accused of manipulating bets on NBA games using non-public information. Prosecutors involved and identified at least 7 games between Feb 23 and March 24 under scrutiny. Rozier was alleged to have informed associates that he would leave a February 23 game early due to injury, allowing them to place over $200,000 in bets, predicting his underperformance in the first place. Come on. That's right. And of course, he exited the game after 9 minutes with a reported foot injury, and Jones was also charged for his alleged role in influencing bets in 2 other games and alleged to have shared privileged information about players injured before 2 LA Lakers games in 23 and 24. The indictment additionally accused co-conspirator 8, that's in quotes by the way, an unnamed Oregon resident, matching Billups' career timeline of providing insider details about a Trailblazers game in 2023. Oh yeah, this goes deep, folks. As a matter of fact, the second indictment charged 31 defendants, including Billups, with operating a network of rigged high-stake poker games connecting to organized crime. Prosecutors stated that members and associates of the Bonanno, Genovese, and Gambino crime families used sophisticated technology such as modified shuffling machines, contact lenses, X-ray tables to cheat players out of approximately $7 million. This is crazy. Now, victims were reportedly lured into games with former professional athletes in locations including Las Vegas, Miami, Manhattan, and the Hamptons. Unknown to the victims, everyone surrounded them was a part of the fraud, players, dealers, even the card shuffling and chip counting machines. If players refused to pay losses, members of the crime families allegedly used threats and intimidation to collect the debts in the first place. Now, of course, the reaction from the government is something entirely different. Not really. New York Representative Paul Tonko referred to the alleged behavior as, quote, inevitable consequence of the unchecked explosion of the sports betting industry, close quote. Christopher Raya, assistant director in charge of the FBI's New York field office, said that this alleged illegal gambling operation defrauded innocent victims out of tens of millions of dollars and established a financial funnel for La Cosa Nostra to help cover to cover and foster their organized crime activities. And the NBA and sports media, how about this one? The arrest of Billups, Rozier, and Jones resigned, or better yet, reignited discussions about gambling's long-standing presence in NBA culture. Team staff and former players describe poker and Bore cards games as common on team flights and in locker rooms, sometimes involving large sums of money. And analysts noted growing unease over the league's ability to investigate and betting-related matters, particularly after Rozier was previously reviewed and, quote, not found in violation, close quote, of NBA rules in 2024. Some executives questioned public trust in the league's internal oversight, while NBA Commissioner Adam Silver acknowledged that federal authorities had greater investigative resources, and the NBA stated that it was taking the new federal indictment, quote, with the utmost seriousness, close quote, and reaffirmed its commitment to preserving the integrity of the game. All right, folks, back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
If I was your mother and you had a drug problem, I'd grab you by the ear and make you call and get help. You can be in treatment tomorrow and start to get clean in 7 days. Follow Mom's advice and call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now. Write this number down.
800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. That's 800-814-8628.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. That's 800-876-7041.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure to check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, prior guests, recorded shows, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, Stitcher, YouTube, Deezer, plus a whole bunch of others. Also, make sure you check out the partners page at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great partners over there. Our favorite is Al's Number One Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. Check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. And if you can't make it over there, again, check them out again at alsbeef.com, because guess what? You can read all about the Italian beef sandwich, how it was created, when it was created, about 117 years ago. And Al's Beef was actually the original, the creator, and they opened their first store way back in 1938. Man, that's a lot of years ago. They've been doing it right, and it is as good as it gets. They are the king of the mountain. If you don't know what it is, read about it and then order some, because it is really, really good. And I say it because I know it's good. I get it every time I'm in Chicagoland. And those are our friends. And of course, we want to promote our friends, but it really is the king of the mountain. Check them out again at alsbeef.com. All right, so we've had some cheating scandals. We've had some gambling scandals. Oh, that's right, and guess what? We're just getting started. How about this? Now, you know, if you've been listening to this show for the last many years, you know that there have probably been maybe one or two instances out of the thousands of shows that we've done that we've actually cited anything from CNN. If you know what I mean. However, this is good information. And imagine this. Yes, good information from CNN, in our opinion. Well, guess what? Well, now, how about this? The NCAA found that 6 players from 3 schools were involved in what?
Show me the money!
Game fixing. How ridiculous and how embarrassing could this possibly get? That's right. This is according to CNN. An ongoing investigation into game fixing in college basketball ensnared 6 more athletes from 3 additional schools. Now, we want to make sure we give the writer of this a little bit of credit too, and that would be by Dana O'Neill and Kevin Dotson. We want to make sure we cite the sources. Right, so if you have any question with this, or if you have any controversy with it, contact those two at CNN and their sports. But anyway, they say an ongoing investigation into game fixing in college basketball, yes, involved 6 more athletes from 3 additional schools. The NCAA announced that players from the University of New Orleans, Mississippi Valley, and Arizona State University have been deemed permanently ineligible for their involvement in game manipulation and sharing information with known bettors and unwillingness to cooperate with the investigations. That's right, and the deception goes on. It just doesn't seem to stop, now does it? NCAA says the cases at each school are not directly related and represent 3 separate infractions decisions. Imagine that. The players involved, let's see if I could say this without messing the name up so bad. Sidcavius Hunter, that's player 1. How about Dykavian Short and Jamon Vincent of New Orleans, Donovan Sanders and Alvin Stredick of Mississippi Valley, and Chatton, BJ, Freeman of Arizona State are no longer enrolled at their schools, the NCAA said in a report. As a matter of fact, the NCAA said in a statement, quote, Hunter and Sanders declined to participate in their respective cases. Short, Vincent, and Stredick were unresponsive to enforcement staff as their respective cases were processed. Freeman participated in a negotiated resolution and agreed to his violation. How do you like that? So one of them caved. So a while back, the NCAA announced it was investigating 13 basketball players from 6 named schools in conjunction with similar rulings involving Fresno State. And of course, that always gets a round of boos because, in my opinion, it's already a horrible school academically. And here's another one, Eastern Michigan. Oh, yeah. There's another prize institution, in my opinion. And of course, the NCAA has now ruled on 12 of those athletes at 5 separate schools. Temple University is the only named school still to be awaiting a decision. Why is that? I don't think so. No. There's more to this here. Anyway, while a student athlete at Arizona State, the NCAA says Freeman provided information to an associate and to his then girlfriend on multiple occasions for the purpose of betting on Freeman through daily fantasy sports accounts. There it is. There's the fantasy sports problem. Now you know why when Sal the bookmaker goes through picks, I never cite online sources. Anyway, the cases at New Orleans and Mississippi Valley each involved unnamed third-party bettors, with the NCAA issuing or using information from integrity monitoring services that flagged suspicious betting activity, and the subsequent investigations revealed that players at both schools were overheard discussing, quote, throwing, close quote, a game, and that on the day of one of the flagged games, New Orleans players even discussed going shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue after receiving their $5,000. This is ridiculous. That's right. All of this comes as the feds pursue 2 separate gambling cases involving NBA players that included, according to reports in the 4-Letter Network and Sports Illustrated, many of the same people behind the NCAA gambling probes. So Shane Hennon and Marv's Fairley, both indicted in both of the NBA-related cases, are also alleged to be behind the point-shaving scandal in college basketball, per the 4-Letter Network and Sports Illustrated. Now, Henny and Fairley are career criminals with serious charges on their lengthy rap sheets. Hennon spent 30 months in prison for the intent to distribute cocaine and was separately arrested for assault after stabbing someone. Fairley was accused in 2018 of murdering a man in witness protection, and the judge, however, cited, quote, a number of matters involving the defendant, state and others, close quote, and he was given a 15-year suspended sentence with no time served. So, as this unfolds, the NCAA is also toying with changing the longstanding policy that prohibits college athletes and staff from doing what? From betting on professional sports. And I got more on that in just a minute. NCAA initially announced it would lift the gambling ban, but amid pushback from both Congress and Southeastern Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey, doubled back within days, giving members of institutions until a particular date to vote and rescind the change. So yes, in order to revert to the original rule and prohibit pro sports gambling, 2/3 of the schools, about 260, must file the necessary paperwork. Listen, folks, this is getting completely, and I mean completely, out of hand. You've got gambling going on left, right, and center. And it seems with all of the advertisement for all these fantasy companies, they're making billions and billions of dollars off of would-be bettors that are doing something because, hey, they think they got a shot to pick something right. Listen, folks, you got a better chance of flipping a coin, picking the right thing and call it a day. Why would you put your hard-earned money at risk when you work, whatever it is, maybe a Monday through Friday, you're working 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 10 to 6 or whatever the heck it is, and you're breaking your back out there for your family or even for yourself to do what? To throw your money away in fixed gambling schemes in the first place? Think about that. I mean, it's bad enough that the odds are stacked against you in a casino, but imagine Now the sports are too. The things that we grew up with and we loved as kids and adults. The reality is it's seemingly all of it is being fixed. You don't even know what's honest, what's not. I've heard stories about golf being fixed, certain events, certain players holding back and not hitting certain shots just because other players were out there. I've heard about it in golf. I've heard about it in tennis. Heard about it for sure in soccer with the officials and, of course, the players conveniently hurting their shins or whatever it is when they're grabbing their ankles or whatever the heck it is. Listen, folks, what can we trust these days? I don't know. Can we trust bowling? I don't know. You have two-handed bowlers out there. I don't even trust that because the two-handed bowlers, well, that's like cheating in the first place. Anyway, bowling was intended with one hand to be put in one ball, not to use two hands with it. But the point is, what do we trust anymore? What is honest? And remember, when you look at the NFL charter, what does the NFL charter say? It is an entertainment company. That's right. It's for entertainment purposes. Gambling at the casinos is for entertainment purposes. You'll see a sign somewhere in the casino or in their charter or whatever the hell it is. This is all for entertainment. Folks, if you don't understand that, that means the rigging and the fixing, it probably is expected. I don't know. That's my opinion. Who the hell knows? All I know is the whole thing is a big pile of you-know-what. And frankly, I don't like any of it. Back here with more of this nonsense in just a few minutes on The Circus.
Stop it! Stop it! I always tell the truth, even when I lie.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. That's 800-298-3173.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least, that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure you check out the sportscircus.com's store. Right across the top, you'll see a tab. It says store. Click on it. There's all kinds of cool items, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, coats, pants, pillows, travel mugs, coffee mugs, blankets, mouse pads, you name it, they're all there with the clever Sports Circus logo on them. And of course, if you mention my name, Ringmaster Sal, that's worth 10% off at the sportscircus.com's store. How do you like that? All right. Welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. You know who you are. And boy, this has been a show of... This is just really, really hard to hear. The gambling in baseball and basketball and poker and all this other crap. It just seems like everything's fixed. And now, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, guess what? Enter the NCAA. That's right. The NCAA has approved a rule change that allows student athletes and staff to bet on professional sports. That's right. And it remains strictly prohibited for them to bet on college sports or share inside information about college competitions. Yeah? How the hell are they going to enforce that one? That's right. And how are they going to enforce the fact that they can only bet on pro sports? Yeah, there's not enough manpower to actually enforce this, in my opinion. This change, they say, was delayed from its original date due to recent investigation into game manipulations, but the rule still will apply by all divisions, and the delay was only temporary. So they say the key points are what is permitted. Betting on professional sports, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, WNBA. And of course, it's now allowed for student athletes and athletic department staff. How ridiculous. What is prohibitive? It is strictly prohibitive and forbidden to bet on college sports, including NCAA events. Yeah? How the hell are they going to enforce that one? Another key point is information sharing. Sharing information about college competitions with bettors is also prohibited. Now, of course, the effective date, they say, well, this dates back to November 1st of 2025 and all this other nonsense. But listen, folks, this has been going on for a long time. So now they're just backdating it, saying, okay, well, this will be starting effective November 1st of 2025, whatever. Is there harm? Absolutely. NCAA has emphasized that this change is not an endorsement of sports betting and has stressed the importance of schools using harm reduction strategies and resources. What the hell does that mean? I don't even know what that means. That's just lunacy, in my opinion. Oh yeah, there, little Billy or little Susie Q. We just don't want you to be affected by this. Well, what the hell are you doing endorsing the idea of betting in the first place? Yes, there are consequences. Violations, especially related to betting on college sports, can result in strict punishments. Ooh, well, what the hell does that mean? Frankly, I don't know, and it just sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook. So here's something from the NCAA. You can go to ncaa.org and look under their news. How about this? Division II Management Council adopts proposal to allow student athletes and the staff to bet on pro sports. So, folks, this goes to Division II, and there's also a similar one for Division III. How do you like that? So it doesn't matter whether it's D1, D2, D3. I mean, pretty soon we're going to see NAIA. I don't know. We're going to see high school, and we're going to see Pee Wee football and whatnot bet on it. Anyway, so this is according to the NCAA. They say the Division II Management Council approved non-controversial legislation to permit student athletes and athletic departments of staff members to bet on professional sports. The rule changes. They required approval by all three divisions and will be effective We'll date it back to November 1st, and it applies to any sports betting activity that occurs afterwards. The change was approved by the Division I Cabinet and by the Division III Management Council. The NCAA prohibited against betting and college sports and sharing information about college competitions with other bettors remains in place. That's right. So the NCAA prohibition against betting on college sports and sharing information, these are important facts about college competitions with other bettors. But what about with non-bettors? We forgot about that one. The change also would not impact rules prohibiting advertising and sponsorship association with sports betting for championships.
Show me the money!
All right. So what we want to do is we want to encourage these fantasy organizations or whatever. We want to encourage them, and we'll pay NIL money. We'll have these fantasy organizations pay NIL money to these athletes, but yet we can't have them promote anything for betting on college sports now, can we? Sounds like gobbledygook and double talk to me. Now, the council emphasized in approving the rule change that the action is not an endorsement of sports betting, particularly for student athletes. It further emphasized the importance of schools using harm reduction strategies and resources provided by the Committee on Competitive Safeguards and Medical Aspects of Sports and the Sports Science Institute. Okay, is that the fake injury part? I don't know. The NCAA already engages in significant efforts to provide educational resources available to student athletes about the impact of sports betting, which are detailed on its sports betting page. And I didn't even know the NCAA had such a thing. Well, that's a whole nother discussion, I believe. As a matter of fact, Roberta Page, Director of Athletics at Slippery Rock and Chair of the Division II Management Council, said, quote, "Our actions reflect alignment across divisions while maintaining the principles that guide college sports. This change recognizes the realities of today's sports environment without compromising our commitment to protecting the integrity of college competition or the well-being of student athletes." Close quote. Sorry, folks. I find that a laughing matter. Anyway, the convention actually had proposals too. So the council took formal position on the 10 membership-sponsored proposals that will be voted on at the Division II business session in an upcoming date at a convention. And of course, those positions are noted below. Anyway, I'm going to get into that in just a second here. What I'm hearing, folks, is let's make excuses. Let's do what we can to keep the name, image, and likeness money going. Let's do what we can to make sure our schools get their share of the NIL money. Let's make sure that we check the boxes for the diversity, equity, inclusion agendas as well. Let's make sure that we don't make anybody upset, and so everybody gets a gold star. And that means even the bettors, even the student athletes, even the donors to the universities. Now, there's a big issue between private and public schools. That is a whole nother show by itself. I mean, folks, there is a lot going on here. And they say, well, the council supported the following membership-sponsored proposal in football to specify the following as a recruiting dead period between December 22 and January 1st, the Monday through the Wednesday, during the week of the annual convention of the American Football Coaches Association and the Saturday prior to Memorial Day and through Memorial Day. The Division II Football Committee and Division II Legislation Committee also supported the proposal. Also, to permit, they said the council supported the following, and this also is to permit schools to provide retroactive athletic aid during an academic year. Okay, so if they transfer, let's go ahead and give them some more money. The Division II Legislation Committee also supported that proposal. Now, the council also promoted in basketball to specify that a school's first contest or the game or scrimmage with outside competition cannot occur prior to the Monday that is 17 weeks before the Division II men's and women's championship selection dates. Division II men's and women's basketball committees and Division II legislation committee also supported the proposal, and the Committee on Competitive Safeguards and Medical Aspects of Sports took no position. That's to be noted. Now, they opposed in baseball limitations. They opposed to increase the student and school athlete playing season maximum, the limitation. They opposed in soccer. They opposed in softball. You know why? Because they're not high revenue sports. And the council took no position in golf. They took no position. They're exempting women's field hockey, women's rowing. What else are they? What else here? They're permitting conferences to count schools in the final year of the membership process towards the minimum of 6 schools needed to satisfy a sponsorship requirement. That's right. So what they're saying is, okay, all the high revenue sports, we'll say football and basketball. We'll just focus on those. Those are the ones we care about. All the other sports we don't care about. And let's talk about how that runs from a discrimination standpoint. Oh yeah. Maybe we could do a whole nother show on that one. Maybe we will. All I know is that this whole thing stinks. And folks, when I say it stinks to money payoff. It stinks to, I would argue it stinks from discrimination. I would argue it stinks from DEI agenda. I would believe it also stinks from political agenda. Where's the lobby dollars going? Where are the lobby dollars going? Who are they going? To whom are they going? How often are they going? How does it affect local elections? That's right, folks. All of this stuff actually matters, believe it or not. This is one steaming pile of you-know-what. And with all the betting and the influence on television, what are the kids seeing in grade school? That's right. They're seeing it in high school. All the kids that are under 18 years of age that have been sucked into buying sports card and running comparables, and without even knowing what the players actually are for these baseball, football, basketball, hockey cards, MMA, whatever. They don't even know anything about these damn cards, but what they know money. That's all they know, and they're losing, I guess they're losing their love for a game that they didn't even develop in the first place. What does America come to? They're selling out their sports, their beloved sports, for what? For $1. That's going to do it for the circus today. I'm out of here. This is disgusting. We'll see you in 23 hours. So long, everyone.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least, that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.